The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. While Jesus was speaking, an official came forward, knelt down before him and said, "My daughter has just died, but come, lay your hand on her and she will live." Jesus rose and followed him, and so did his disciples. A woman suffering hemorrhages for 12 years came up behind him and touched the tassel on his cloak. She said to herself, "If only I can touch his cloak, I shall be cured." Jesus turned around and saw her and said, "Courage, daughter, your faith has saved you." And from that hour the woman was cured. When Jesus arrived at the official's house and saw the flute players and the crowd who were making a commotion, he said, "Go away, the girl is not dead but sleeping." And they ridiculed him. When the crowd was put out, he came and took her by the hand, and the little girl arose. And news of this spread throughout all that land. The Gospel of the Lord. So in a few words, in a few minutes from now, I'm going to say, "Do this in remembrance of me," right? We're here, if you will. There are few reasons that we gather together, but one of them is to remember. We have a tendency to forget. The curious story of Jacob sleeping on the rock, with a pillow for a rock for the pillow. Always gets my attention a little bit, He must have had something over the rock. But anyway, nonetheless, what does he do? He takes that rock and he pours oil on it and he sets up a little rock pillar there as a memorial. So when I come back here and I see this rock, I'm going to remember. Because otherwise I'm going to forget. But if I put this rock here and pour the oil on it and make this little libation to remember that I trusted in the voice of God that I heard in my dream. I trusted. In you, my God, I place my trust, was the responsorial psalm today. Do you trust in God? We stamped on our money, "In God we trust." Do we really trust God? One of my favorite parts of the Divine Mercy Chaplet is, "Jesus, I trust in you." We can trust in God, then we can forget that we trusted God. Can't we? In fact, we have to be reminded over and over and over again. Like, do this in remembrance of me. To remember in this battle against our flesh and our weakness and our forgetfulness that we place our trust in God. One of the most profound moments of my entire life, one of the most profound moments of my entire life was hearing the voice of God ask me this question: "Michael, do you trust me?" And I had to come face to face with the fact that I did not trust God. I could give lip service to the fact that I trusted God, but in reality, He was showing me that I did not. By my actions, I did not. In you, my God, I place my trust. Trust is the foundation of every relationship. If we don't trust somebody, guess what? We're going to have a crappy relationship with them. In you, my God, I place my trust. Do you trust God? Do you really? Do your decisions, your actions, your life, your sacrifices, your tears, your hopes, your joys reflect that you trust God? In you, my God, I place my trust. May we have the trust of the Father who asked Jesus to raise his daughter and the hemorrhaging woman who reached out to Jesus. Jesus, I trust in you. Increase my trust.